to Winfred Wanjama, who is a man who is in the real estate. And joining us virtually, actually, it's Winfred Wanjama, a lady joining us virtually for this conversation about the effect of COVID-19 when it comes to the real estate. And Ms. Wanjama, as we talk about matters of COVID-19 with the real estate, how bad is the situation? Because we've seen so many residential estates, we've seen vacant houses within the business sector, we've also seen vacant offices.
Basically, there is no money in the economy, and therefore it is very difficult for everyone in the real estate sector. So the reality on the ground is that with no money in people's pockets, it's very difficult for any person who is in the real estate sector to make any projections, as it is not certain when this is going to change. And remember, this has been going on since last year, since the government stopped spending quite a bit. So the COVID-19 has just made it even worse, because we were already in a bad situation. So with the COVID-19 coming in place, it has caused a lot of distress to many people who own real estate.
And Ms. Wanjama, what are we expecting, like house crunch within the real estate industry? In terms of when one wants to buy a house, the pricing right now during this COVID-19 season and the pricing before?
Yes. The reality is that the prices have been coming down since 2018. A lot of the prices have been coming down. And currently, the prices that are there in the market are based on the cost of production. So unless something happens that will mitigate this, maybe funding from the government or something else that mitigates, the prices are not likely to go down as much as most people would want, because a lot of the prices are based on the cost, as opposed to the era where business people in the real estate sector were making supernormal profits.
And right now, as we speak...
So no, I don't see a huge decline.
All right, and as we speak right now, there are so many real estate investors who took loans from the banks, some to buy homes, some to build homes. How are they going to try and pick up the pieces in terms of paying their loans?
That's where there's a huge problem, because most of the projects that had just commenced and had just gotten financing, those will most probably stall, because the uptake is not as buoyant as I'm sure it had been predicted. However, the people who had finished their projects, there's still a lot of demand in the economy. It's just that there's no money. So the demand is there, but there's no money. So I think if the real estate sector people come together, we might be able to salvage the situation, because the demand is high. That there's no doubt about that. But the issue is, how is the financing on both ends going to be done? And I think that is where we need a lot of help with all the stakeholders involved, so that we can see a much more robust way of handling the situation. And in this, I mean, where, for example, that offer mortgages to their employees, those should be funded and should continue taking place, so that those people who have secure income, they can continue to buying their own their homes. And where, for example, the funds had been removed, they should be put back, because that is where I think that the help needs to be, money needs to be put in there. it's secure for all the parties, the banking sector, and as well as the developers themselves.
And Ms. Wanjama, real estate is about buying and selling. Are we looking at a situation whereby during this COVID-19 season, a time actually, and post-COVID-19, where we'll see sellers becoming buyers, or we might end up seeing buyers becoming sellers?
I think for most part, you will not see speculation at this season because, unfortunately, as I said earlier on, the people who normally speculate, who buy to sell, and vice versa, most of them are hard pressed. They don't have the money. Most of them are involved in supplying the government, and the government has not made lots of payments, so there's no money. And therefore, we don't see that. The people who are likely to purchase now are people who want homes for themselves and not to buy and sell. This is not the right time to engage in speculation.
And lastly, as we bring this conversation to an end, Ms. Wanjama, which areas have been affected so badly with the COVID-19 when it comes to real estate? When I'm asking about that question, I'm talking like the high-end estates like Runda, Karen, Kilimani, Lavington, Kileleshwa.
Yes, I think the high end, the very high end, has been the mostly affected. The reason being, a lot of the houses are now, most of the people vacated. A lot of expats left the country and went back to their countries. So therefore, there are a lot of vacancies in the houses, and therefore, those have been the most affected, where most of the houses are very low occupancies, and people continue to move out.
All right, that is Winfred Wanjama Warui, the managing director at the Store Homes Building Company, talking to us virtually concerning the effect of COVID-19 on the real estate. But I do apologize for that technical hitch we're experiencing right there with Ms.